Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to not only the Styles UK YouTube account, but also the Styles Europe YouTube account. I'm joined with Hagen today.
Hi.
And we're going to be talking all about how you guys can start a heat printing business in 2025. Now, it's October, I'm well aware. No, it's not, it's November. It's the 1st of November today. Yeah. But we want to make sure that you have everything you need, that you're prepared, and that you know exactly what you're doing. So through today's live, we're going to talk through everything you need to know in detail. We're going to be covering UK trends and businesses, as well as Europe trends and businesses. And yeah, Hagen and I are just going to have a conversation today and help you guys through it. So 2 things before we get started. Number 1, don't forget to drop any comments or questions you have in the comment box below. I can see that we've already got Darren with us today. Hello, how are you? And secondly, we have got a free something at the end of the live for you. So make sure you stay till the end if you want a free, it's kind of like an actionable guide to starting your business. We've made it really easy for you. We've made it achievable, actionable. So we'll give you a link to download that for free at the end of the live. But yeah, before we get started, Hagen, is there anything you want to say? Hello to everyone.
Really excited to be here. Especially this topic of starting your own heat printing business and maybe also how to do it from home. That's something that I guess I can also talk about because I have my heat press at home. I've been doing some like actual orders. So I guess I can also talk about what I've learned of like what not to do when you do some heat printing. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about this today.
Good. Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be a good live. We've had Darren comment again saying, I slept in and thought I missed the live, took some time off for our birthdays next week. Firstly, happy birthday. And secondly, very glad you didn't miss the live. Okay, so to start with, I think we should talk about, if you're watching today's live, why are you doing this? What's your reason behind being here? Do you want to start a business? Have you got a print business that you've kind of started already, but you want to properly take it to the next level? Or have you had a print business for a while and you're just looking for some extra tips, tricks, make sure everything's running as it should be? We're going to take it back to the basics today. So yeah, have you thought about starting your own business? Are you looking for a way to make extra income? That's obviously one reason to start your own business. Have you been thinking about creating a business for a while, and 2025 is going to be the year that you do that? And are you ready to take action? Who's ready? Comment below if you're ready to start your business. Let's do it. So Hagen, firstly, let's talk about why people should start their own business. What are the benefits of being your own boss?
I think, well, for me, probably the biggest thing would be the independence you probably gain from doing that. If you have an idea, you don't have to run it past anyone. You're gonna put in the work. If you want to do something, you go for it. So you're independent, you can do what you want. And like you said already, I guess the big benefit will also be the potential money you can make. That might be way more than being an employee.
Exactly. There's no cap on your earnings, and we're not going to cover it too much today because that's a whole nother live, but there are lots of ways that you can expand, especially when running a print business. So the business that you start in 2025 might not be the same scale that you're running in 2026 or 2027. So yeah, there's no cap on sort of how far you can take it. The other part I want to talk about is the flexibility, kind of what you've said about independence. You can be in control of your time, your schedule. You can manage everything as you want to manage it, including timelines and expectations of customers. You can also have a real sense of achievement when you have your own business, right? So you're creating something that's yours, that you can be proud of, something you can look back and be like, yeah, I did that. I'm supporting myself, my family, and I'm building that as well. And also, I think for the heat printing side of it, creative expression is a massive one, because I know we're going to talk about generic businesses in 2025, but from a specific heat print point of view, this is a really creative space. And obviously it depends on whether or not you're starting a brand or fulfillment, and we'll talk a bit more about that later on in the live. But if you're a creative person, this is such a fun way to be able to get all of your ideas out, and, you know, creating t-shirts and hoodies and designs, and it's fun with all of the finishes we've got. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can do it.
I think it's also really easy to set up, or not actually easy, but it's way easier today than it was like even 1 year ago, with like all the tools you have to create your own website or to help you calculate your costs. I think like technologies like AI and stuff like that have really come so far in the last few months that you can actually use that for your business now. So it's a great opportunity to benefit from that.
100%. Yeah, completely agree with you. Yeah, so like I said at the beginning, we are going to make it super easy for you today, and we're going to give you follow-up actions as well. So we have got the ebook that we're going to give you, which is free to download. At the end, we'll send you the links, and we're going to cover everything that you need to know today. So we've just had Lions Dig Verbs, apologies if I've said that wrong, in the comments saying they're looking for a way to finally get the business up and running. I have the kit, I've done lots of R&D, I just need to take the leap of faith, but I just don't know how to take that next step. We will cover that today. By the end of this live, you'll go away with a step-by-step plan of exactly what you need to do to get that business up and running. So shall we talk about why you should start a business in 2025? So not necessarily a print business, just in general, if people are thinking of creating a startup, a bit of a side hustle, what are the benefits? So the first one I want to talk about is a bit like what you said earlier, Hagen, is online, right? It's easy to reach new customers with the world of social media that we have now that's forever growing and expanding. And also selling online has never been easier than it is today. Even like last year and the year before, I feel like it was probably a bit harder to sell online than it is today with certain stores you can set up and things. So yeah, the online space is definitely a big one for me. Then we have got, where's my second one? Oh yeah, so then I've put down just as a note, there are already hundreds of thousands, probably millions. I don't have a specific stat for that, but there are probably a lot of people selling online. So why shouldn't that be you? If you're sitting watching this live thinking, you know, there's so many people out there doing it already, that can be you. It just takes a few simple steps, and you could be one of those people having a side hustle that eventually turns into a full-time business, right? So there is a real growing demand for customized products in the world. Okay, so I have actually got a few stats for this here, so just excuse me while I hold up my very big list of notes, because we've got a lot to cover today, people. So the industry's growth and popularity for t-shirt printing is absolutely huge. The growth of t-shirt printing is expected to surpass $10 billion by the end of 2025. So that's a massive number, absolutely huge. There's a lot more space in this industry than I think a lot of people think and a lot of people realize. If you're sat at home thinking, oh, I want to start this business, but I don't know if there's enough real estate in it for me. Is there, you know, enough business to go round? Am I going to get jobs? Am I going to get customers? $10 billion. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of jumpers. So there's more than enough business to go round. If we're going to narrow it down to UK specific, the UK custom t-shirt printing market is projected to grow from 310 million in 2023, which obviously was last year, but to 526 million by 2032. So 310 to 526, that's a massive difference just in the UK. So, I mean, again, we're covering Europe as well today, so there's going to be a lot more growth there as well, because obviously it's bigger than the UK. But yeah, that's an insane number, absolutely insane. And then the last stat that I want to share with you all is just on t-shirt sales. So we're going to show you how you can decorate t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, all of the fun stuff today. But if we're just talking about t-shirts, then the growth rate, the annual growth rate of t-shirt sales alone is 3.44% from 2024 to 2028. And the total amount of t-shirts that we're expected to sell in the UK is going to reach 107.5 million units by 2028. 107 million t-shirts sold in the UK. That's insane. That's so much. And then as Darren's just commented, and then you have the US, exactly. So this industry is huge. We're literally printing on things that people put on their backs every single day. People are going to need clothes every single day, whether it be personal, whether it be work, whether it be for their employees. There's so much time and space out there for everyone to get involved. Okay, moving on. Sorry, I keep referring down here. We've got a lot to cover, people. I have a very long list of notes here. So let's talk about what's the same as previous years. So you want to start up a business. What's going to be the same last year as it will be next year and the year before? So you still need the best quality products, right? Like you can't get away with using something that's not quite as good a quality, because your customers are going to notice, right? Like Hagen, if you were going to start a business tomorrow, would you opt for the cheaper material that you know isn't going to last, or would you opt for something better quality from the off? Like,
if I did my own brand, I would do the like thick stuff that like feels nice on the body, that gives you a lot of comfort, that's high quality. Yeah, probably. But
exactly.
If there's a customer coming to me and he just wants something of lower quality, I guess I can print on whatever with my heat press. So yeah.
Yeah, from a garment point of view, yeah, there's so many options. Like we can talk about the good, better, best side of apparel in a little while. But even if you are printing onto, say, that client wants a slightly cheaper t-shirt, you're still going to want the print that goes onto that to look good and last as much as the slightly thicker, heavier weight one, for example. Mm-hmm. The second thing that's the same as last year and the year before is customer relationships, especially if you're starting a business that's yours and yours alone. You want to be proud of it. You want to make it successful. If you want regular business and you want good relationships with your customers, you're going to need to put the effort in, and you're going to want to build that. So that's the second one. We've had a comment from Boyd River, who says, Guten Morgen. Hopefully I said that right. A bit late to the party. Armchair Detective can't make it this week. He told me to tell you. Oh, we miss you, Armchair Detective, but hopefully you'll be with us next week. And then number 3 is researching your target market and your business structure. So that's still just as important as it's ever been. You don't want to start a business without knowing who you're selling to, what they want to buy, types of products, that sort of thing. And also your business structure. Like, you imagine running a business and not doing research into how you want everything to run, and pricings and suppliers and stuff like that. So we are going to, of course, cover all of that for you all today. So Hagen, why do you think people should start a clothing business in 2025?
Well, the market is, as you said, the market is huge. I think you can't even grasp these numbers that are so big. I've talked with a guy he sells merch for like really big bands at their concerts, like Taylor Swift and stuff like that. When she plays in Berlin, he is at the merch stand and sells the stuff there. They sell hoodies and shirts and like bags and all of that, and they make like $1 million in one evening just from one concert. So it's like each branch that there is in the whole clothing industry, it all is very lucrative. Not just merch, also like sports or even everyday clothes.
Definitely. And obviously, depending on what kind of business people want to run, dictates the customers that they have and who they're researching into as their target market. So before we dive into, the specifics around heat printing, I just want to set everyone off on the right note of what business they want to run. So obviously with heat printing, we've either got a brand business or we've got fulfillment businesses. Brand being you create your own brand. So like Styles is a brand. Nike are a brand. Like if you want to build something that has Styles Europe, Styles UK, Styles Europe, Styles Global, we have a lot. But if you want to create something that's yours and, has your name on it, say you might want to create the next Gymshark or something like that, that's completely possible, but that's a brand business. If you want to create a fulfillment business, you're printing other people's designs. So you're still obviously going to have a business name or a business brand, but the products that you print will be what they request from you. So a painter that runs a business up the road from where you're set up, from your house maybe, might come to you and say, I need 10 t-shirts for work and 3 jackets with my logo on them. When can you get them printed and how much will they be? That's a fulfillment side. You're fulfilling somebody else's need for apparel. From a brand perspective, you're printing your own products that you want to sell to people. So 2 very different types of businesses. Now, I did want to cover them both in today's live, but I think I underestimated how much we were going to talk about just one thing. So we're going to do fulfillment today, and then we're going to cover brand in another live. So maybe like early January, when everyone's had a chance to digest the information from this live, Hagen and I are going to come back and we're going to do a brand specific related live. So any comments or questions you have for that, definitely drop them below. We'll save them for January. But yeah, we're going to talk about fulfillment today. So vote below. Everyone give us a comment. What type of business you have already or that you want to set up? Are you looking at making your own brand, or are you looking to start a fulfillment business? Now, it's worth mentioning before we get started into the technicalities as to running a print business, that if you have a brand, you're going to need a heat press to heat print those things, right? So in the beginning, you might not necessarily have as much income as you may like. So if you have a brand business and you're printing using like the heat press that Hagen and I have behind us, you can run a fulfillment business on the side and it doesn't have to associate with the brand. So let's say, for example, we're starting Molly Prints, right? That could be the fulfillment business. And then we want like, I don't know, Molly Apparel as the brand. You don't have to market them as the same. The only people that are going to know that they're like you doing both is, I don't know, close friends and family or people you tell. If you need a little bit of extra income, you can do a few fulfillment jobs for sort of people you know, contacts you might already have, using your heat press that you've already got and already bought to sort of fill that revenue gap while you're building and growing your brand. So if you've got the heat press, you have the capability to do both. But obviously, a lot goes into building one or the other. So if you are thinking of doing a brand, just keep in the back of your mind that fulfillment could always be something you touch on. Let's move on to trends. Let's talk about the fun stuff, Hagen. What kind of trends have you been seeing in Europe when it comes to apparel? So obviously, we are talking about fulfillment, but in general, what have you seen around Europe and around more specifically in Germany where you are?
Well, I don't know if it's Germany specific because I'm not looking everywhere, but I'm certainly seeing more of these like oversized hoodies or even shirts, like everything that is like very loose fit and very comfortable. I'm seeing people walk around in that all the time. Yeah, I'm also seeing like what I also love is like this Gen Z humor on like little designs that you have there. But I guess that's something that we can talk about for heat printing as a brand, because as a fulfillment heat printer, you're not going to be concerned with creating little funny designs.
I mean, I don't know. We've just released our Christmas stock designs for this year, and one of the ones that we've done is like a Christmas cracker joke for hospitality. So they have like the cringy Christmas cracker jokes, like question, answer, like front and back and stuff like that. But that's technically fulfillment, like hospitality, restaurants, cafes, anything that's like customer facing. I guess that comes down to your client and like how open they are to being a bit more flexible rather than, like just a logo.
True. Yeah, I mean, ugly Christmas sweaters, great thing to wear.
Okay, so from a UK point of view, and I think everything I'm going to mention here kind of covers both brand and fulfillment today, but something I've seen a lot more of is, like Hagen said, the oversized heavyweight is running the show at the moment. Everyone's living in them. I'm wearing one today. This is the new Bella Canvas oversized, slightly heavier t-shirt that they've brought out. I love it. I live in it. Same with, we've got some of the new heavyweight hoodies and sweatshirts from Audis. I think that's the one you're wearing, right, Hagen?
That's the one I'm wearing right now. Really nice.
It's so comfortable. Yeah, I love it. But that's definitely taken over. And regardless of whether it's brand or fulfillment, I think that's relevant because people that work for a company. So let's say, for example, you've got a business like Styles. So let's say that our bosses suddenly went, right, okay, we're going to give you all uniform or all like branded clothing to wear, which is ironic considering the nature of the business we're in, I'm aware. But say we weren't in heat printing, say we were in like something boring like finance. Sorry, all the finance people. We print t-shirts for a living, it's fun. So yeah, let's say that they were like, right, we're going to give you all branded apparel. I wouldn't want to wear like some horrible, stiff, uncomfortable, probably not fit me properly t-shirt. I'm going to want something that feels like I want to reach for it in my wardrobe in the morning, something that I would want to wear at the weekend. Like you don't want to put on a stuffy shirt or like for women as well, like a t-shirt that's like huge and doesn't fit properly, or, you know, there's so many elements to that. People want to feel good and comfortable in what they're wearing. So yeah, and Hagen has proved he's wearing a workwear branded heavyweight sweatshirt for this video. So the other one I want to mention is texture and different finishes. Now, the reason I think this is also relevant to fulfillment is because we've got so many great ways of doing like raised black on black prints, or like the one I'm wearing now, this is soft foam. This still looks very, very corporate, but it's got a bit of a different look to it than, you know, like the transfer vibes. So, and all of the trends that come through from, say, like retail, for example, always have a way of ending up influencing the fulfillment market in some way or another. So yeah, I think that's one to just keep in mind when you are creating things for your fulfillment customers, is textures and colors. Obviously, you don't need to just print white on black anymore. If the company has a gradient in their logo or something like that, it's completely possible for you to print that on a shirt for them with the amazing transfer technology that we have now. Okay, we're 20 minutes in. I think we've covered a lot. We're doing well. Keep bringing those comments in, everyone. We've had quite a few drop in. Darren says he does both. See, possible. If you've got heat press, you can do both. Okay, let's move on to why start a clothing brand. Okay, so we kind of touched this already, but we'll talk about the ease of starting a heat printing business. Now, I think when you say, let's start a clothing brand or let's start a fulfillment business, people are like, okay, that sounds like a lot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. But it's a lot easier than you think it is. Firstly, you can do it from home. You can heat print things on demand as well now, which we will cover as well. It's versatile and you can grow with your business. So starting from home, like Hagen has the same press that I have here in the Innovation Center in his house, and he's just sitting doing a live with us. He's going to press soon, but he's at home. He's going to print t-shirts in his house. Like, you don't have to have a big space. You don't have to rent a studio, a warehouse. Just set it up in the corner of your living room, your spare room, anywhere like that. Hagen, has it been easy for you having that press at home and just working with it?
I think the auto open is perfect for me. Also, like I have it on a caddy stand, as you have too, which is I can just move it out of the way. If once we're done, I'm going to put it back in the corner where it doesn't take so much space. And I think, I mean, there are different ways to decorate clothing, like screen printing or embroidery. And I think all of these take more space, and also they are not as easy to do from the first time. You're probably not going to get a perfectly decorated shirt the first time you try to screen print something. With a heat press, that's actually quite easy. You just have to follow the instructions and make sure everything is like level on the plate.
Exactly. And cost as well. Like you've just mentioned some very big pieces of equipment there. It's not just from a footprint point of view, like physical space, but financially as well. Screen print carousels are not cheap. Embroidery machines are not cheap. Heat presses cost a fraction of what one of those machines does. And you can run your whole business from it. You can produce all of your products on it. So cost-wise as well, if you're thinking of starting a business, you don't want to blow all of your savings. You still need a bit of a buffer behind you. This is the way to do it. And I mean, I'll mention for our UK customers that we do have finance on our heat presses, and you can also purchase it with Klarna now as well. So if you are thinking, oh, you know, I want to, but I don't want to spend £1,000, £1,500 outright on heat press, put it on Klarna and pay it off over 6 months. And then that way the business you start to get coming in will pay for that heat press. Sorry, Beth, what did you say?
3 months.
3 months, apologies, 3 months. Hagen, you have finance options available in Germany, right? For people that want
Since this week we also offer finance options for our presses for our business customers, which in my opinion is a great option. It's for me, it would be way better to have these regular payments that I do monthly, to plan ahead with that, instead of having this big payment that you do at the beginning of the month, because this press still is it's an investment, and it is going to bring you way further than like an import press would do. So it's a worth investment if you want to sell actual shirts, and like you need to have them high quality. But yeah, we have finance options now for customers within Germany for presses like these. And then you can get your press, start making money, and with that money you can pay that press off.
Exactly. And what you just said there about it growing with your business, like it will last if you get a decent quality one versus an import press. And this is something that's adaptable, right? You can take the bottom platens off it. You can use different accessories to print different things. Like this heat press will last the lifetime of that business. The heating element has a really good warranty on it. So we build these presses to last and to grow with your business. So if you're going to invest in a piece of equipment, make sure it's a good one. Don't spend £600-700 on a press that you're going to have to replace in a year and then spend another 1.5k on another machine, and you could have just put that money towards the better one that you don't need to replace. While we're on the topic of talking about how much things cost, I think we should mention the fact that we do have bundles for people looking to start a business. So we are going to cover the decoration methods. So we'll go on to heat transfers in a bit. But from a purchasing point of view, if you want to get a heat press, get some transfers and start running a business, if you're going to buy a heat press bundle if you're thinking of starting, because not only do you get discounts on everything in the bundle, but you also get transfer credit. So I think it varies from like £100 to £500 worth of credit, depending on which bundle you buy. I think the auto open one's around 200, if I'm correct, something like that. But yeah, Beth's nodding at me behind the camera. I think so. I think it's 200. Yeah, I think because the max is 100, autos 2, fusions 3. So you get the transfer credit and then accessories that you're going to need to buy anyway. Like you're going to need release paper. You're probably going to you're going to want a quick slip. You can't live without a quick slip. We won't go down that tangent now because it will be 10 minutes of our lives I'll take up, but you're going to need a quick slip. You are going to need like a grip flex cover, like a thicker sheet if you're decorating more heat sensitive stuff. You're definitely going to need some other lower platens, like all of this stuff that if you're new, you're probably listening to me thinking, I've no idea what you're talking about. You're going to need them eventually. So buy it as one, get the discount. And yeah, it's such a more cost-effective way to get started.
I have something to add to that. Hello, everyone.
I'm nervous now. Beth has been here this whole time.
Beth from behind the camera. As Molly's most recent TikTok attempt proves, heat printing is addictive. You'll get one platen and then you'll want the next one, and then you'll need a quick slip to go with that platen, and then you'll need a third platen because you decide you want to print shoes, and then you want to do legs and sleeves. So get the bundles. Need we say more?
Anything else you want to add, Hagen, on the bundle side of it?
You might also want to get heat tape to get like your designs in place, especially if you print on beanies, so you don't have a crooked design on that beanie.
Hagen, don't do
that was
to me.
Excellent, Hagen. Oh, perfect timing.
Look, I held my hand up. I admitted it.
She did her lines. It's all good. Yeah, no, definitely stuff. Just accessories like that. Like they all come in the bundles. Okay.
Sorry, that's so funny. That was a good one, Hagen. Well done.
You've set her off now. That'll be it for the next 10 minutes. Right, let's talk about pricing. And I do promise you, I know we've been talking for half an hour. We are going to do some pressing in a little bit. But one of the main things that I want all of you to understand from this live isn't just what machine to buy and what transfers to use and, blah, 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 all of that. But I want you to understand the pricing and setting up your business financially. Now, when you're charging people for things, you need to understand the costs that go into making that product in order for you to price it correctly for what you're then going to get back from it. To cover your costs, to make a profit, to pay yourself is one that people often forget to do. So we're just going to run through a few pricing elements that I've got written down here today. And I have noted this down because I'm not a financial expert, but these are things that everyone needs to know. Okay, so bear with me. So taking the time to understand pricing and what goes into the true cost calculation of a business is so, so important. If you don't take the time to do this, chances are you are going to make financial decisions that aren't helpful to your business, and you might end up having to close it before you've even really started it, or if you're not making enough money, you can't continue the business. So we want to help you avoid that. We want to make sure that you're not having to close, that you are making enough income to continue with your business. And especially if you start a business as a side hustle and you want to make it full time, you're going to need to grow it and you're going to need to make income from it. You can't run a business not making money from it. That won't support you. So we're going to show you how to do that. Now, the masterclass I have got this information from was one of our global masterclass sessions, and it was the true cost. We've been talking for half an hour. Oh my God, the true cost of heat printing on demand. We got there in the end. Now, this is a session hosted by Josh Ellsworth, and I highly recommend that all of you head online and watch that. We have put links to all of them in the ebook that we're going to give you at the end, so you don't have to worry about remembering all of this. But in this, Josh talks about direct labor costs, indirect overheads, and total cost to manufacture. Now, when we're talking about direct costs, we're talking about the cost of the t-shirt, the cost of the transfer, your time going into it, all of the physical things that go into making up that product, right? And the indirect overheads are things like your bills. Like if you're working at home and you've got your heat press plugged in, the electricity that it's costing you. If you're renting a space, things like that. Eventually, when you pay staff, you're going to have to factor all of that in. So you're going to have to consider what it costs you to make the garment plus your indirect overheads. That all equals what it costs to manufacture that garment, right? So any expenses that go into making the product, you want to make sure you're including that. Now, let's talk about the first one. Let's talk about direct costs and materials. Are you paying yourself to do this job? Because if you're not, you are working for free, right? Just think about that for a second. If you're not paying yourself to print that shirt, your time is, you're not paying yourself for your time. So if you want to replace yourself one day, so let's say you're running a business and you're like, do you know what, in a year, 2 years time, I'd like to get someone to operate this heat press so that we can either double our output or I can go and working on meeting customers and things like that. You're not going to be able to pay someone else to run that heat press if you're not paying yourself to run it. That's the first thing I want you to remember. Secondly, let's talk about how much you should be paying yourself and how long it takes to print a shirt. So let's say on average it takes 2 minutes to heat print a shirt, roughly. If you are charging yourself £15 an hour, paying yourself £15 an hour to heat print a shirt, it's going to cost you around 50p to heat print one shirt, right? That's what you need to charge yourself. You need to add that on to every t-shirt that you print. Now, if we're moving on to the materials, you've got your t-shirts and your transfers, right? So let's say t-shirts cost around £3 each, and your transfers, I've taken this number from a 50 sheet quantity of a one color screen print, but say £2.47 per sheet with 2 designs on. So we're going to halve that cost again from £2.47 to £1.23. But that basically equals, it costs you £4.23 to make the t-shirt with the physical products. You're then going to want to add on that 50p so that you're charging £4.73 for that t-shirt. Now, it's a minor addition paying yourself, but it really does make that difference. Like you will one day be able to pay somebody to run that press for £15 an hour or whatever it is you decide to pay them. So the total direct cost of printing a shirt is £4.73 for today. If you're looking at your indirect overheads, for example, you're looking at the space you're working in, your bills, insurance that you have to pay for your business. Like I said, any salaries, but that will come later. Taxes as well. If you're working for yourself, you're going to have to consider paying tax at the end of it. Combine the two of those together, and that's what it's going to cost you to make that product. So make sure you're considering all of these things. Most people, some people, when they start the business, would think, okay, a t-shirt costs this much, a transfer costs this much, that's it, done. Like, no, there's so much more that goes into making a product, and they're all minor costs when you break them down per t-shirt, but it makes such a difference to your end result in your pricing strategy if you work it out. So make sure before you start your business that you do a full analysis of what you want things to cost, how much it's going to cost you to print things. Do your research about the garments, do your research about the transfers, know your pricing inside and out, because that's what's going to make you a profitable business, not how many t-shirts you can sell. If you can sell 100 t-shirts, fantastic. But if you're not paying yourself for that and you're losing money on that job, you're not a successful business. So that's one of the things price-wise I wanted to talk about. The other one is how to stay profitable. And I promise this is the last thing I'll say about pricing, but it is very important. Now, if you want to stay a profitable business, you need to keep your overheads low. Like we've said with printing at home, it's easy to do. These machines, oh my God, these machines do not take up that much space in your house. You can run it from your house. You don't need to go and hire another space or a shop or something like that. Keep your overheads low. You want to start and stay lean, which is something that Josh said in this presentation, and it really hit home with me because it makes so much sense. Like, if you start and stay lean as a business, then you have the flexibility to move with trends. And if you spend all of your money on one particular trend or garment style, you're holding loads of stock and something else suddenly comes out, you're like, oh well, I can't start that because I need to shift all of this first. No, buy what you need, do the heat print on demand. Don't start to expand beyond your means. Pay yourself to replace yourself. Very, very good slogan. And be nimble as a strategy. So make sure you're able to pivot and move when the market does. Now, that's all I'll say on pricing.
Let me add one thing to the pricing thing. It's a mistake that I made when I did the order. I had 40 hoodies, or my customer wanted 40 hoodies fully decorated. So what I did was I ordered 40 hoodies and 40 transfers for that, basically. And that was the mistake, because I did a crooked print, and then I only had 39 anymore. So luckily I knew the guys. I could be like, hey, can I buy one of the hoodies from you? Fully knowing that they would be like, you can have it for free. So I was good. But normally, if you buy the exact number of blanks and transfers that your customer ordered, then chances are you might have to reorder some of that. And that would not only cost you time, but also money. And also, if you don't put that in your pricing originally, then that's money that you're paying. So if your customer wants 40 hoodies, you should order 42 and give them, these extra 2 hoodies, you should divide that on the price for all 100%. Of the others. So it's not on you, because you should have that little buffer for yourself.
Always. And we always talk about testing as well. If this is a hoodie that you haven't printed on before, you're going to want one to play around with first before you do the whole run to make sure it's right. And agree with what you said completely. That cost should not be to you in the business. Divide it up between all of the other ones you're making for the customer. They'll never know. It'll be like this much difference, but it does make a difference to your business if you're doing that with every order that you have. Okay, let's talk about transfers. We've spoken about presses. Obviously, from a choosing your heat press perspective, we do have, Hottronics make a lot of different presses, but I would recommend 2 in particular. One being the auto open, which is what Hagen and I both have today. The second being the Max Clam, which I don't know if you can see it, but it's the black one behind this press. They are the 2 presses I'd recommend for new businesses, right? Hagen, tell me a bit about your machine. Why did you choose the auto open?
So I wanted a 40 by 50 press that was non-negotiable for me, because I want to do full-size prints, and Hottronics has this quick change lever underneath. So you can change out the lower platen for a smaller one, but you can't have a bigger one. So the 40 by 50 was like important for me. And then the auto open, I mean, I would have loved a fusion with like the IQ board to don't have to remember anything. You just save it there forever. But the auto open is fine. It opens automatically, which means I can go grab a coffee while it's printing. And it also has the dual timer, which really like saved me a lot of like headache when I did the prints. You can just say I'm gonna do 5 seconds pre-press and then 12 seconds actual press for Ultra Color Max, for example. And you put it in there, and then you do it every time. You don't have to put it in again. You just do that. So yeah, the auto open fits perfectly in my space. It does more than it needs to. It like really is a nice machine to work with. And I have it on a caddy stand, so I can move it around wherever I need it. So the perfect press for here at home.
Completely. And I think going back to the caddy stand, everyone at home is probably thinking like, oh, I buy the press and then I've got to buy the caddy stand. Not if you buy the bundle, because they all come as one. Buy the bundle. So that's a heat press. That's the heat press side of things. I have nothing else to add to what Hagen said. Like that sums up perfectly why the auto open is the best press. From a transfer side of things, so like decoration, obviously we've got custom heat transfers and heat transfer vinyl. We're just going to cover custom transfers today because we would be here all afternoon if we were covering both. But there are lots of different transfer types available for what you can get. It depends on your order, your job, your customer. But if you're starting out, we have got, as Hagen mentioned, Ultra Color Max DTF transfers, which don't have a minimum order. So in the free ebook download, which we'll give you at the end, it has a section in there about ordering a couple of samples when you get to the point where you're actually set up like 3 months in. So you're going to order a couple of t-shirts and you're going to want some transfers to print on them, but you don't want to be stuck with a run of like 10 or 20 prints that you don't have a need for, right? So with Ultra Color Max DTF transfers, you can order just like one sheet. And the amazing thing about this as well is that you can put more than one design on here. So this, for example, is the one we're going to print today, but I've done like a full back print for the t-shirt, but I've also put on here some of the little left chests as well. And I'm just going to cut these out on the live for you. So this is an A3, but we have all the sizes, and particularly for Ultra Color Max, we have the meter sheet as well, which is super handy if you want to do like a run of different prints. Yeah, so highly recommend doing that. We also have our Ultra Color like main heat transfer, which is for full color but higher volume. And then we have our screen print, which is for between like 1 and 5 colors. So plenty of options. And there is also, let me find the section in this book, because we've also printed out, here it is, a very handy, I should have stapled this together before we started, a very handy what to use when guide. So this is in the free PDF ebook that we're going to give you. I'll stand this side so I can actually see what I'm doing in the camera. So you can see here it has apparel quantity at the top. Can everyone see that? There we go. It has color quantity down the side, and then this tells you which transfer you should be using based on the colors in your job and how many you're printing. So this is, like I said, in the download at the end. So make sure you stick around for that. But yeah, that basically covers what transfer you should use when. We have videos explaining all of the different heat transfer types. If you do have any questions, do drop them below. But I don't want to waste time talking about that because there's a lot of other stuff we have to cover. So yeah, if you go onto the website, there is a video on how to pick apart the different transfers, pick which one you want. Let's talk about how to get your first sale. This actually was in my notes before pre-press, so we're just going to jump back a bullet point. How to get your first sale. Hagen, when we spoke about doing this live a couple of months ago, you spoke about having connections and utilizing the people you know around you for where there might be business opportunities. Do you want to touch on that a little bit in terms of how it could help people get their first order?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's not like I'm utilizing the people around me. I was just...
No, but like there might be an opportunity for someone who's like, oh, I know somebody that I don't know, works
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a golf store, maybe they need some hats or something like that.
Exactly, yeah. So there's basically you just go places and you say, or you have a shirt like this on, and if you talk with people about what you're doing, you're like, I make stuff like this. I make prints on shirts. And that so often leads to a conversation where it's like, I could use some shirts for my, I don't know, for my work event where we're gonna do a running thing. I would love to have hoodies for my band, which I did. I talked to like artists who can't, or who it's quite difficult to sell big artwork. It's way easier to do a print of that artwork and sell it like on a bag or something. So talking to people about what you can do, and that you can also do it in a very personalized way better than like big shops on the internet might do that. That was a great thing for me. Like I wasn't even actually searching for people to work with, and that just came flying in for me.
Yeah. I think as well, sometimes it gives you an insight. It might not necessarily be that connection and that job, but for example, I know somebody that runs like a local golf, what do you call it? Golf club. I was like, golf store? No, they actually have like a driving range and stuff. But I wouldn't necessarily approach them and go, do you want me to make your t-shirts? But I know how she runs her business and I know sort of the ins and outs. And it would be easier for me to then approach another golf club and be like a bit more sort of on that knowledgeable level, if you know what I mean. So just using the information around you as well is very, very handy. And what you said about local as well, being, you know, the local printer, I really think that gets underestimated a lot. People will buy locally if they can. They will want to support your business. They just might not know that that's what you do. So like Hagen said, tell people that's what you do, wear your product, explain it to them. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be in a month's time, it might be in a year, but at some point they're going to go, oh yeah, I remember that you do that. Now I need some shirts. So never underestimate the opportunity to sell yourself and your brand and mention it in conversation.
I will say as well, the only way you're going to get business is to talk about your business. You have to talk to people about it. And I think we were talking, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, if you're watching today, but I think it was Matt from Print Pro UK that was telling us how he first started. It was personalised one-off jobs, and then a friend of the family recommended him to somebody else, and so on and so on. And eventually he got his first of it. It might have been Mel from Drum Nagoric actually got their,
I mean,
got
it could
their
have
first
been both.
fulfillment job.
It's a very easy way for it to snowball into a more sustainable business, for sure. Okay, let's talk about blanks. We'll talk about blanks and then we'll talk about decoration types. I think I need a new battery in the camera, Beth.
Okay.
Hagen, while Beth's changing my camera battery, do you want to talk about the good, better, best side of your blanks and your apparel? Like, how do you go about choosing the right apparel for your business?
Speaking from experience, it was like I talked with the customer what they want for their blank, and they wanted something really high quality. So that was clear. I had a blank supplier, L Shop in Germany. It's a great blank supplier with a huge range of different brands, and I can highly recommend it. And then you talk to your customer. Is this the blank that you want, or do you want to go higher quality? Do you want to have 100% cotton, or do you want a blend of something? You should be aware of what you can print on. With the heat press and with the transfers that we offer, you can print on cotton and polyester and blends of it. You can even print onto what is neoprene? Is it that in English too?
Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
Okay, yeah. So I think having this conversation with your customers so they don't get their finished products and are like, I don't know, disappointed in it. Always managing their expectations. That is an important step of deciding what blank you're going to order.
100%. And the beauty of being able to order just one and test it, like you said, you can take one or two to a customer and be like, okay, these are the options before you then order loads of them. Or if you're just testing for yourself, you know, again, in the ebook, we talk about sampling. You can just order 1 or 2 and see if you like the feel of them. Also, I'll highly recommend anyone that is thinking of starting a business to really get in contact with your suppliers and your brand reps, because Ralowise, for example, who are the biggest distributor for blank apparel across the UK and Europe, they have brand reps that will come and see you, come and speak to you. All of the brands that sell through Ralowise have reps that come out. We've had some of them here in the showroom. They've been on the podcast, and they will, like Lauren we had the other day from Try Dry. She will, she came in with a massive rail of garments, and straight away Beth and I were like, oh, this is amazing, looking at this and sampling that. But if you don't ask and you don't contact them and tell them about your business, they won't come out and see you. They won't show you the products. So make sure, like we said before, tell people about your business, get in contact with those suppliers and the blank apparel brands that you want to use, because that information is invaluable. And that's actually something that Matt from Print Pro UK said on the podcast episode that we recorded with him. We recorded it a couple of weeks ago, but it's coming out, I think, in December. And that was about starting a business as well. And he was completely, obsessed with the fact that you have to get in contact with those suppliers. And he mentioned it a couple of times. So especially from him speaking from experience as well, I think that's something really, really important. Okay, let's go on to decoration and transfers. So what to use when. I know we touched on this a little bit before. So Ultracolor Max DTF, obviously for those lower runs. But we, of course, have transfers that are better when you're doing more than 10 or 20 sheets. So if you're doing a job for somebody and they want, say, 50 t-shirts, you're not going to be best ordering DTF transfers for that, because the pricing remains the same, right? But if you order Ultracolor heat transfers, which are our full color digital prints, or our screen print heat transfers, which are the 1:5 color plastisol prints, the more sheets you order in those, the lower the price gets. So the way that styles try to structure their custom print pricing is that you guys get the best price for what you're ordering. You can make the most profit from it. So yeah, make sure you're really looking at that what to use when grid when you are ordering your transfers, because if you can bring the cost of your transfers down, then you can, make a lot more profit per t-shirt and on the overall job. Now let's go on to gang sheets. Hagen, do you want to talk about gang sheets? It's one of my favorite topics.
Yeah. I cut out all of the transfers that I've ordered.
I'll hold mine up. I didn't. You talk and I'll hold them up.
So you can just put one transfer on a sheet that you order. That doesn't make sense if it's just small though. So you can see there with the one Molly did, you can fill the entire sheet, like all the room you have, you just put stuff on that. You can do one big one, and if you still have room at the top, at the bottom there, you just put it smaller, or you put like a different thing. You can have like quite small prints, for example, with Ultracolor Max. This one is about as big as my thumb, and it has like still great detail. So you can really put some small stuff on there. And what the UK calls a gang sheet, I think we call it a master bogen. I
did not know that.
I think, yeah, I think that's what it's called. But it's the same principle. You pay by the number of sheets you order, not by the number of designs you put on that.
Yeah. So that is just another way to bring your cost down again, because if you think about this sheet here, this is an A3, so I'm not entirely sure exactly what the pricing would be.
It could even fit one more there in the bottom.
Okay. Yes, I could have, but I was trying to make it easy for myself to cut them out on the live. But yeah, you're right. If I was really pushing it and I needed to get some more of these, I could have put some smaller ones in here, up this corner. Like, you literally want to cram as much into your gang sheet as you can. Now, when we're talking about gang sheets, it's important to realize that you have to cut them out yourself. So we will cut the sheets to the size you order. So if you order an A3 and fill it with designs, this is how it will come, right? You have to cut them out. If you order an A5 or something and you just put one design on there, we pre-cut all of them. So if you're doing a bigger job, it might be worth forgoing the gang sheet and just doing one so that you're not having to spend extra time cutting them. But if you're doing a smaller job or you're just testing, or you do it in a way that's super easy to cut, like a grid form almost, if that works out cheaper, then 100% do that, because the amount of designs you're putting on that sheet is how much you can divide the cost by. So say a £2 sheet that has 4 designs on it, the cost per transfer goes from £2 to 50p. Like, that's crazy. Okay, should we do some fusing? We've been talking for 55 minutes.
Can I ask you a quick question while we're still on gang sheets?
You can.
Boyd has asked, do you have a free gang sheet builder?
We don't, but only because gang sheets are so custom to you. So we have video tutorials on how to create gang sheets. So with EasyView, our free upload artwork ordering system, you can upload multiple designs to the sheet and move them wherever you want.
Technically, that's a gang sheet builder.
Technically, that's a gang sheet builder. I thought we meant like a template. I was like, we don't have a template. But yeah, you can build them within EasyView, or if you're using like Photoshop or Illustrator or something like that, you can upload all the designs you want into that, size them all, and then put that, export that as like an A3 or an A4 and put that into EasyView. Yes, completely. So if you have all the designs and you don't have a software like Illustrator, absolutely use EasyView, throw all your designs in there, size them appropriately, and just order the sheet as it is. No need to mirror, just do them exactly as they are. What you see is what you'll get on the print sheet. Do we have any other questions on gang sheets?
That's it for now. Let's fuse.
Let's fuse. Beth's like, can you please stop talking? Hagen, do you want to take it away first with your application? Show us the transfers you're going to be fusing today.
Yeah. Okay. I've been hammering that point home, but I'm gonna. So I did sweatshirts for a band. I'm just gonna do that in a similar way again today. I have a sweatshirt here. I'm gonna put on.
Making the most of that threadability.
Yeah. It always, I mean, it should take you like, when you're experienced, it should take you like 30 seconds to put your textile on the press. For me, it takes way longer. I really have to like check all the sides that it's all even. It looks good to me.
And also you are doing it on an angle, trying to film it at the same time, which isn't
that's
always easy.
That's always more difficult, yeah.
Is that, Hagen, is that your way of saying for us to not come for you if it's wonky?
No. Okay, I have a few different designs for it. Let's say your band has this as their album cover and they want it on their shirt. Maybe actually like a typical order, because they have their design ready, they send it to you, you just have to produce it as a transfer and then print it. So not a lot of like design work for you. You just have to do the order.
Can we see that transfer as a close-up? The detail and the color in that is so good.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
Look at that, everyone. Oh my God. Love it.
Really nice. Yeah. You're not going to want to put the transfer on right away, as I almost did. You first want to do a little pre-press. But you already have put in the 5 seconds for the... No, you don't. You can open the auto open like that, but you really shouldn't do that.
I was going to say, don't do what Hagen just did at home.
Yeah. So 5 second pre-press, you do that.
Amazing. Look, that auto open just, I love it every single time.
You can also, when you do the pre-press, you can check if your pressure is right. Mine was at 5, which is perfect. And then you position your print. You want to go down from the rim. You want to go down like 3 fingers, and then you need to check that it's really in the middle. Check for the print to be in the middle and not for the way you cut it, because you might not have cut it evenly. That looks good.
Especially if it's off of a gang sheet.
Yeah. So this is the front I'm going to do. Then I also have this one for the back. It's really tiny, everything, but also something quite typical for a band, like just the tour, all the places where they might do their shows. I pull off the carrier right away because Ultra Color Max is a hot peel. And with the threadability of my press, I can just turn over the sweatshirt quite a lot quicker than having to pull it off completely. It looks good. Another pre-press. If you are in the groove of doing things, then that really like this double timer really makes a big difference because you don't have to set it up every time again. You can just keep going.
Yeah, that's one thing I always think about the presses that don't have dual timers, which to be fair, like we don't. But having to go back and forth and like change the pre-press and main press all the time just would take so much longer.
I could even add one more tiny print if I really wanted to do that. Like I said, it's as big as my thumb basically. And still quite detailed. It's like really nice. Could add that on the sleeve maybe. Not gonna
Yeah,
do that
just
right
do it. Why not?
Not gonna do that right now. That basically is a band hoodie, how you might actually sell it. You have a big design on the front, quite
That
nice.
looks so good.
And then you have the tour data on the back. And that also, I mean, that really is something that people would like to buy. They would be like, I was right there. I was at that show right there. So yeah, and that's how easy it is too. You just need the transfers. You set up your press. You put it on. That's it.
You've just made what somebody would purchase at, like you said, a Taylor Swift concert. I mean, how much do merch hoodies sell for these days? Like, it's Beth, you go to gigs.
I bought a t-shirt at a gig about 2 weeks ago and I paid £35. The hoodies were priced at about 60.
So Hagen has just taken a sweatshirt that, I mean, I don't know the exact price, but how much are those sweatshirts? Like £9-10-ish. And probably a pound's worth of decoration on there. And you can make like £25 profit. That's crazy. And that took you like a couple of minutes to do. It's good quality because you've got the best quality transfers. You've used a Hotronix press, so you know that is consistent. Like, yeah, I don't know why more people aren't doing this. This is the year, people, to start your business. 2025.
2025.
Are you going to do sleeve print or no? Shall I do mine?
I can also do a sleeve print.
Let's do sleeve print. Let's show everyone.
That will take this hoodie from 60 pounds to like 70.
Exactly. One extra little print that's that big.
Okay, talk me through that. I've never done a sleeve print. How do I get this?
Have you got something to isolate the area with, like a pillow or something, a heat print pillow?
I could also take a smaller plate maybe. I have a 10 by 10.
Let's give it a try. Why not?
Let's try that.
Let's show how easy it is to change those platens.
Okay, so I pull the lever. Do I pull it to the front? Did I already have it? No. I don't get it off right now. Okay.
Let's show everyone how easy it is. Oh, it's stuck. You pull it forwards. I think it's forwards.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can show everyone on this one because I took this one off just before. So yeah, as Hagen said, there's a lever on this side, and then you just lift it like that.
They're very heavy.
They are very heavy.
Maybe I'm just weak.
The mechanism in this is the same across all of the platens. So like they all have this same pin. So yeah, I mean, Hagen, we're gonna have to get you sent out one of the pillows because you could have just slipped that into the sleeve and then put that whole thing under the press.
Okay.
We'll get you one of those for the next live.
What are we going to print next?
Let's print. Okay, so we need a vote, everyone. We've either got a painting and decorating t-shirt, a Rogers Barber. Actually, no vote. This is the coolest one. We're going to do this.
It's really nice.
No vote. Scrap the vote. Right. So, like I said, I ordered a gang sheet, so I am going to have to cut these myself. I'm going to try and do it so that you can see, but this is really difficult to do not on a flat surface, so bear with me. So I'm just going to cut, and like Hagen said, it's not always, thank you, it's not always the straightest of cuts if you're doing it yourself, so make sure to always go by the design and not the very wonky top cut that I've just done there. Right, let's put it on this t-shirt. Now this is an eco-friendly sustainable t-shirt. This is the Bella Canvas 3001 Eco, and this t-shirt is made with, I think it's up to like 8 recycled plastic bottles. So really soft, really premium feeling fabric, but you're helping the environment at the same time. So same as what Hagen did, we're going to thread, so top and bottom. So this is really important for anyone starting a business in 2025 to know. We talk a lot about getting the right oh, I just went really bright. We talk a lot about getting the right transfers and the right presses, but if you're using all of the right stuff, but your application method is wrong, then you're not going to have a good quality product. So first things first, you want to make sure you're threading the garment as Hagen has already demonstrated. If you put your t-shirt double layer on the press like this, you're not going to have an accurate even print. You want to make sure that you're only pressing on the one layer that you want the transfer to apply to. You get even pressure that way. You don't get press boxes across the neckline. So threading it on, and like we said earlier in the live, having these quick slip covers on the presses makes it so much easier to just glide them on and off. They quick slip, like it says in the name. Secondly, even pressure. Again, as Hagen demonstrated, his was on a 5. If I pull this down for my pre-press, I can see that mine is on a 7. That's a bit high. So I'm just going to lighten that off. But pressing with even pressure makes everything so much easier.
You just did exactly what you told Hagen
not
to.
I know. I'm sorry, everyone, because I suddenly realized I hadn't told everybody that when I threaded this on for pressure, not only have I isolated the top layer, but I've pulled the collar off so that the raised area, like this is the smoothest, tiniest seam ever, but it will affect the pressure. We don't want that to happen. So move that off so there's no seams on this platen. Give it the pre-press like we already did. And then I'm going to do like a left chest. Now I'm going to fold, because I did cut this really wonky. I'm just going to put like a tiny little bend in the top there so I can see where the middle of my design is, and then it'll be a lot easier to place. So I'm going to use the top of the collar and the bottom of the sleeve as my point. Sorry, I don't like turning my back to the camera, but we want to get this straight, everyone. Okay, going to use a release paper just to cover it, and then we're going to fuse for 12 seconds, and my pressure is now on a 4, so that's the lower end of medium. So making sure that you have a completely flat surface area means your pressure will be accurate, and because we can see the pressure readout on this press, it means that we're going to get an accurate print every single time. Now, if you're pressing shirts for people and the pressure's off, or you've got seams on the platen, you might think, oh, it's fine, the carrier's peeled fine, it looks okay. That's all very well, but when they wash it 5, 10, 20 times and the print starts to come off, like that isn't going anywhere. Can I get that? There we go. Where's the camera? There it is. Like that's not going anywhere. That looks excellent. I'm scratching at that and nothing's happening. But if you don't have your accurate pressure, your time and your temperature, these will start to come off in the wash, and your customer probably won't tell you. They just won't come back. And that's what we're talking about when it comes to product quality and product longevity, right? As well as customer relationships. It all helps. Now we're going to do the back print, which is going to be a lot more fun because it's the big print. Same thing, threading it on, isolate the area, pull the seam off, give it a pre-press. Now the reason we pre-press, for anyone that doesn't know, is to remove any moisture and wrinkles from the garment. So you don't want to put this onto like a crease, for example, and especially in the UK and Europe, in the winter, there's a lot more moisture in the air. The garments hold that moisture, especially if they're being stored in like a warehouse or something. And we want to make sure to get rid of that so that the transfer lasts as long as we want it to. Again, find the midpoint in that design. And 12 seconds. So super, super easy. 12 seconds for a full color detailed print. You saw the detail in Hagen's design, not just with the text on the back, but those colors on the front. I mean, the detail that this transfer is managing to achieve, even in this design, is crazy. Can you see that?
Yeah, looks really good.
Really good.
Yeah, so there we go. That's how you do it. Back print, front print. And this is like an actual, oh, I've just realized oh no, that is left. The camera's reversing me. I was like, it's a right, left chest. So this is like, for example, something I would take in to a potential customer and be like, look, this is what I can do for your business, like, and show them, get them to get the product in their hands, get them to touch it, to feel it, even maybe give them a sample, get them to wear it. Because once they wear it and fall in love with it, then they're going to want more. Is there anything else you want to press, Hagen? Do you want to do anything else?
I could also do a shirt if you want to do.
Let's do it.
I have some more Ultra Color Max here. What do I have? One thing that I've seen is quite popular is like campgrounds who also offer their own merch.
Yeah.
So like or even like van life, stuff like that. So let's do this one on a shirt.
I really like that design, actually. I'd wear that.
I can totally vouch for that trend as well, because over summer we released a whole bunch of stock designs with similar looking graphics on. So that's definitely a thing right now.
And as someone who went on their first camper van holiday in 2024, I would 100% wear a Happy Camper t-shirt.
So same thing as before. I'm always double checking if this is in the middle. And I'm using the sleeves to check if it's on there correctly. Not really the seams.
The seam.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna do my you did your pre-press without putting the cover sheet on.
I mean, yeah, you can do it with both. If you're using a garment that's like a bit more sensitive, then I'd always put it on for both.
Okay.
But with the t-shirts that I used here, like, yeah, we know that they're fine.
I'm just gonna put it on.
Best practice. Do what Hagen does.
To be safe. The pressure is gonna probably be lower than with the thick hoodie, so I'm gonna check that and then adjust. It's free now, so it's a little bit too low. I am gonna turn like a quarter turn, should be like 1 degree of pressure, so that should be about right.
Mm-hmm.
I almost did the exact mistake that I said not to do. I'm gonna do the folding too. That's a great tip.
It works every time.
So I'm gonna again go like 3 fingers down from the from where your head goes in. That should be good. Yeah, now my pressure is also on a 4, as you said, lower end of
And
the perfect
1
pressure.
point up, perfect.
Then you just pull it off while it's still hot. And you're done.
Quick and easy.
That looks so good.
Nice.
I
I would
love
also wear that, I think. Now that I see that in front of me, I'm just gonna keep that. It's gonna be mine now.
Love that. I love that. I do that too.
We all do it.
I'm going to do one more just while we're here. We'll do one more fuse on each. So I've got a blue and a white. Let's do white.
While you're fusing, Molly, can you talk about the size of a left chest logo for Mimus Lane, who's left us a comment?
I can, yeah. So let's do the left chest first then to cover that. So threading on, making sure it's straight, pulling that seam off and pre-pressing. Right. Left chest sizes. Now, this is actually a really bad example because the one I've done is massive.
It's quite large.
Oh no, I'm not using that. I'm using this. But even so, this is too big. So I think this is a 10 by 10. which in hindsight, I've done 10 by 10 prints before, like,
that looks really big.
but it does look massive. Like Hagen's is a lot more appropriately sized. And this is what happens when you let me go free reign on ordering the transfers for the demos. Definitely too big, but I would recommend, I mean, it also depends on the size of the garment, right? Like this t-shirt is a medium, but if I was printing on, say, workwear for a company and you've got a size small and a size XL, you're not going to put the same size left chest on the small than you are the XL, right? You might get away with a slightly bigger one. So like if I was putting this on an XL, that would probably look okay. But on this medium, it might be a bit big. Like I said, I think this is a 10 by 10 that I ordered. 6 by 6s are also perfectly fine. I think anything from between like 6 to 8 centimeters in width and height kind of works. If you've obviously got like more of a rectangular design, or a bit like this one I just printed, which obviously isn't a square, it's a rectangle, I would go like 8 centimeters, like from top to bottom, maybe. Yeah, so always go a little bit smaller with your left chest. And I mean, you can
if you have like a circle, you should not go 10 centimeters. But if you have like, I think my chest style Europe is 10 centimeters wide.
Yeah,
because it's so small.
Yeah, I think if it's, like you say, a bigger print like this and it's like a square or it's a circle, definitely go with like a 6 or an 8 centimeter width. But as Hagen is wearing to demonstrate, your print is a lot like shorter. And if it was tiny, it probably wouldn't look right. So it also depends on what kind of look you're going for. I've seen people with like tiny left chests and people with quite big ones. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. But yeah, I would definitely
6 to 8. I reckon.
6 to 8 centimeters. Yeah, not like this. But for the sake of the live, we'll do it. No, I was just checking the comments. We're good. So, and then in terms of placement for a left chest, I'm still going to center this one just because if I don't, it's definitely going to be wonky, especially because it's a circle as well. So I'm going to use this collar here on the t-shirt. This is going to be my center point. I'm trying to do this to the camera. So this seam here from the collar all the way down, that's my center point. So I'm going to put the little fold I just made to that and bring it down. And then I'm going to use the underneath of the sleeve here as my like base point. So bottom of this is going to be the bottom of the transfer. And again, the one I'm using is a bit too big, so it's probably going to look silly. But from a placement perspective, you get what I'm saying. So I'm going to put this on here, and I'm actually going to cut. Let's get creative here. I'm going to cut the bottom of this off to give you an example, because this one, again, is bigger. This is a bigger left chest. But if we take just the top bit of it off, this is very intricate cutting.
Don't forget to peel while hot.
Oh, thank you.
It's a hot peel transfer.
That would have, if that hadn't auto opened, that would have totally scorched. So I've just taken the top part of that design from Andy's transfer. Has that camera zoomed out, or is it me? Just me. Oh no, hang on, I made my screen smaller. That's why I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. So yeah, we've just cut the bottom off of this. So that is probably more of like an appropriate left chest because it's not as long. So we've got this one here, which I'll show you. So this is placed correctly, right? You can see it's sitting center point on here, and then the bottom is lined up with this shoulder seam there. So placed correctly, but probably a bit too big. Now, this says handyman services, right? So say, for example, you are promoting your business. You might not care so much that it's bigger because you want people to be able to see it. Like if you were selling this to someone who wants to promote their business, they probably wouldn't mind like a larger left chest, especially because I've got the matching back print to go with it, which I will do in a second. But on this t-shirt, I'm just going to demonstrate, this is a large. I'm just going to demonstrate that other left chest that I've just cut out. So again, load it on, pull the seam off, give it a pre-press. Take our little cutout design, find the middle, and same thing again. We're going to find the collar all the way down, and then we're going to use that as a base, just like that. And this is going to look a lot more accurate for a left chest than the version on the white t-shirt, which we can compare actually. Hot peel as always. And there you can see that looks a lot more like a left chest, right? So you've got this one here compared to, that's not the right t-shirt.
That is the right. Oh.
No, it's not. Oh my God, it's all going on. Right. Compared to this one, how am I going to do this?
You can't.
I can. Hold on. Hold on. Yes, we can. I'm determined. There you go. So like you can, that's the same like logo, same design, but you can visibly see the difference in size on that and just how
much attention you want to grab.
Yeah.
As well. How
Like-
much brand awareness you want to spread.
I guess what I'm trying to say is because they're the same width, technically it's the same design, the same transfer, the same placement. I'm actually really impressed with how accurate those are. I'm looking at them in the camera like they're pretty even. But yeah, because this one obviously has the additional bit at the bottom, it's a lot bolder and it looks a lot bigger. This one is the exact same size, but we've just taken the bottom off. So it's also relevant to the design that you're printing, but hopefully that answers your question. If it doesn't, leave us a comment or get in touch after the live and we'll help you out a bit more. I'm just going to complete my t-shirt with the back print. If there's any other questions that you've got approximately 1 minute before we move on to the ebook to get those questions in. There's so many wrinkles on these t-shirts because I've just had them like screwed up next to me for this entire live. So that pre-press is essential. Taking the big back print now. I am definitely not opening a handyman service for those wondering, but you know, we run out of names when we come up with these transfer designs, so. Cool. 12-second press, hot peel, and that's a second business t-shirt done. I still love this one. This is my favorite.
I really like Hagen's first design, the
band
gig t-shirt.
tee.
That was really cool. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's the one.
And you can see just from what Hagen and I are holding up now, you've got two totally different styles of garment. This is a lot more like businessy, corporate, well, as I say, small business. Hagen's is more memorabilia, fun. It's a lot more design, arty, but they both printed using the exact same product. Oh, and they are going to last the same amount of time, quality. Yeah, just shows how easy it is. I love it. Do we have any further questions before we move on?
I don't think so.
Okay then, Hagen, anything else you want to add before I talk about where people can find their free business planner?
One thing that I had in mind, the pre-pressing is also important because many fabrics have their surface is like there's some stuff on it to make them not get dirty as easily. So you really always have to do the pre-press to loosen that up. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so this is the part you've all hung around for. A whole 1 hour and 23 minutes later, we are showing you where you can find this. So Beth, can I please ask you to finally put the link in the chat to where this is?
I will do that now.
So this is your how to start a business in 2025 guide. Now we have made this custom for everyone attending the video today. You can download this whether you're in the UK or in Europe. Just click the link that Beth has dropped in the comments. You just have to fill in your name, email, and address, and then we'll send it to you in an online PDF. So start your business in 2025. We've then got a little bit about why to start a business and a link to this live so that you can watch it back if you need to. We've got information on planning and research. We've got information on what do you want from your business. We've even got little note sections. You can print this off and write your notes in it as well, which I love. I love a planner. I love a planner. Right, then we've got about your market, right? So then you can write down who you want to sell to and what your target market is. So if you're doing research, just scribble the notes in the planner. Then we've got, this is one of my favorite ones, your name and your logo. So coming up with your business name, we've got some different logo examples in here. And yeah, you can write down some ideas you have for your business name. There's even tips in here as well. Like if you're starting this business and you're like, I genuinely don't know what I want to call myself, we've written thought starters, important places or people, favorite colors, what you want to sell, hobbies. Like there's a list of things you can incorporate into your business name here. And then we've got getting started. So we've recapped everything we've talked about today. We've got how you can get started, the equipment that you need to print on. We've covered heat press versus iron as well, which I know we haven't talked about much in today's live, but it's an essential part of what you need to know for starting a business. So make sure you read this page. Then we talk about all of the different transfer types. So we've got the DTF, Ultra Color Max DTF that we've been printing on today. Ultra Color, which is essentially like the same color thing, but just for higher quantities. And then we've got our screen printed transfers on at the back of that as well. So you're never going to be caught short of what to use when. Like I say, this graphic is literally a Bible when you're ordering heat transfers. Make sure you use this. Literally shows you everything you need to know about which transfer type to use and when. Then we have got the actionable, oh my God, there's too many pages here, an actionable month by month planner as to what you can do for the first 3 months of starting your business. So I've summarized all of the steps for you in month 1, month 2, and month 3 here, so that you can just refer back to this sheet on each month of what you should be doing. But then we've gone a step further and broken it down for you. So for example, month 1, market research, naming your business, etc. We've got a little heat press basics live masterclass here, which Kelly and I did for the global masterclass last year. This is all still relevant. All the information in here is so vital if you're starting a business. And then just a few things that you need to consider when purchasing your press. So make sure you go and check out that live. These little links here, whenever there's a masterclass video, these links in the PDF are clickable. So it will take you straight to the video. Month 2, we've got some stuff on pricing in here. So what we were talking about before about direct labor and materials, indirect overhead costs, and the total cost to manufacture. Again, link to that video as well. Month 2, again, more stuff on pricing. We haven't covered this one as much in today's live, but definitely a really good one from Josh to watch there. Month 2 is a busy one, people. We're going to be looking at researching your potential customers, what they're looking for, and researching your competitors. There's information on that in here as well. Definitely recommend looking at that. Then month 3, when it's time to create your pricing strategy and look at purchasing your press. So there's all of that information on there. And like I said earlier about ordering your samples, we've included all the information that you need to order your custom blank t-shirts, your custom transfers, and make your first batch of samples, and then what to do next in terms of taking them to customers. Now, after month 3, which bearing in mind if you start now, so November, December, January, you'll be in a position to be printing by the end of January for your 2025 business. So we're going to follow up with a Q&A mid-January to answer all the questions that you guys have about starting your business, what you've found easy, difficult, anything you've got queries with. We'll be back for another Q&A then. I haven't actually told Hagen this. Hagen, we're going to do a Q&A in January.
I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to do that. Like, yeah.
By the way, yes, so come back mid-January, join Hagen and I again. We're going to answer all of your questions, and yeah, we'll see where everyone's at from this live. So I just want to say thank you too. I can see that we've still got a lot of viewers watching. We've been talking for an hour and a half, so I really appreciate you guys sticking with us. I really hope you took something from today's video. If you are watching this back on demand and you don't really have any ability to like comment live, then still comment below. Beth, Hagen and I will be monitoring the comments and getting back to you. We've had a comment from Lions Digs Verb again saying that she submitted her request. This live has been fab. Thank you. Got to dash. Need to get to my day job. Not for long. You will be heat printing full time, very long. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Yeah, really, really good. Hagen, thank you for taking the time to join me today. I think it's been really valuable for all the watchers.
Thank you for having me. Also, the stuff you showed with the left chest placement, that was really like, that really made sense to me. I've learned something also, so thank you.
No problem. No, this has been fantastic. I'm super excited for the Q&A in January that we're going to follow up with. And like I said, if you guys do want us to do like a brand version, we've focused more fulfillment today, but we can do a brand one. We've got a quick question from Kavita that says, are these water-based pigment dyes or PU? Ultra color transfers are water-based. Yes, they are water-based indeed. Any more transfer information, either comment below or check out the website. All the links are below. We're going to go eat now because I'm starving. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next week with another live.